This meeting is being recorded.
Tech fans, it's time for Up with the White and Gold, Impact Media's weekly dive into the world of the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets football squad. He's GaTechJon Watts. I'm Jeremy the Impact York. We have a lot to get into. We clearly are going to get into 8 overtimes worth of madness. But first, how are you, John? And follow up to that, what were your takeaways from this game?
Like a lot of posts said online after that game, need a drink, and yeah, it was
like that was empty, by the way.
It was. It's been several days, so been through a couple cups, but
Understandable.
yeah, no. Leaving the game Friday. No, it was good. Not this game, but the high school game. No,
I was about to say, let me clarify. I'm going to start with that point. We said it on Hunker Down. I'm going to say it again here. Of the three of us, me, you, and Jake on Impact Media here that cover collegiate sports, I was at a hockey game. You were at a Friday night playoff football game, and I believe he was covering some other event as well. So because this is on a Friday night in late November, none of us were technically near a TV till the very end of this.
Yeah, because you get around things like my son goes to a school that's ranked pretty high in Georgia, so it's likely on a Friday night and late in the year I'm going to be there.
Yep.
And once again this Friday I'll be it's not a home game, but I will be I'm going there for a 2-hour bus ride up to Buford.
Near the Mall of Georgia.
Yep. So we'll be playing the semifinals up there at Buford. So to be interesting.
Actually, I will not be far from you. I will be at the same arena I was at last Friday, but for a completely different event.
Yeah. On paper, it could be us against Douglas County in the state championship. So what you used to cover.
I hope it is. And I hope it is. That'd be a great. That's two. Carrollton, Douglas County, I think, would possibly be one of the games of the year.
Yeah. So we did play them in the final game of the regular season. So we have played them already once this year at their place. So it'll be interesting to have to go against them again and see how that goes. But yeah, that was good there. But yeah, riding home, listening to the radio, and then getting home to watch the end of this clean old-fashioned hate. Definitely keeps you on the edge of your seat. And my daughter, who always has her birthday around the same time, usually gets mad because she has to share her birthday with the same weekend. She was watching it. She watched it live. She watched more than I did. So even she was getting mad at it, and
we are slowly converting her.
She was trying to figure out all the overtime rules, and I was like, "Good luck."
She wasn't the only one,
right?
This was a brand new system that let's just throw that caveat. When I say the NCAA decided to have this genius epiphany last year or a couple years ago that we're going to change overtime rules so that we don't go to so many multiple overtimes. And then Georgia and Georgia Tech basically say, hold my smoothie or hold my varsity orange. I think we're going to go at least 8 of these things.
Yeah, so we have the second most overtimes in a collegiate football game, the longest game between Georgia Tech and Georgia in our series history.
Mm-hmm.
Even way this set up, it's still time-wise, number of overtimes. Because in the old days, you just go back and forth. Now, second overtime, you had to try for 2. Third on, you only do the 2-point. So it's each overtime being one play basically.
Yeah.
Unless you get so.
Pretty much. I get it, and I actually like the rule because God bless us for some of us that when this thing would go overtime periods and things like that, these games could be 5-6 hours long, and that first off way too long to be watching a game, but second off, you're really getting into injury town. Into these players that you can only drink so much Gatorade that the muscle just gives out or the bone snaps. And so that's majority of why this rule is in place. But This was basically 3 halves of college football by the time you factor it all in. But time-wise, play-wise, everything like that, they literally played a first half, a second half, and a completely third half.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, looking at what happened in the first half, definitely one-sided. Second half was the flip to get us to that overtime period, as you call it, kind of a third half, even though that's mathematically incorrect. Um, but yeah, and
I'm gonna
then it
somebody
was.
catch me on that. You're the first one to actually catch me on saying that. I've said it all week.
I was like, I'm gonna put that out. But yeah, definitely. I mean, it's and then having to end up pretty much being either way. Clearly, it was either way. It was just like, oh, we can win. Nope, nope. Oh, they can win. Nope. Oh, we can win. Nope. They can win. Oh, they won. So it was
Pretty
definitely
much.
back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and the numbers being put up by both sides, and I definitely like the responses, even from like Kirby Smart, what he has said about Georgia Tech, and the kind of embrace they both had at the end of the game, the respect.
I think they were just cold.
I mean, but
they're just like, if we just keep hugging it, are we going to get warm? Maybe.
Or man, this is finally over.
Yeah. Too bad it was in Athens. Had it been over there at Mark Rick Field, they could have went and got some food.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You've been listening to your other co-host a little too long now.
It's just fun to say, but
yeah.
You could tell too that even just them trying to scrap and scrounge and find any sort of energy, like all of their gas tanks were beyond half empty. They were completely empty, and so it's not a half full, half empty thing. By far, it was more than half empty. There was nothing but fumes, and somehow these players rallied. And it wasn't. I mean, it's not like the defense has showed up much all night anyway, but. And the numbers do look inflated because of the overtime rules. There's a lot of them that are a little bigger. But, I pointed out to Jake on the UGA show, I said, well, here's the thing. Haynes King, 26 for 36, 303, 2 touchdowns. That's honestly a Haynes King game. Him rushing for over 100 yards, the 3 scores, the fact that he factored into all 5 touchdowns was crazy. But I said, normally he's good for one of those a game or something like that. He normally runs for 70, 80, 90 yards. Jamal Haynes having almost 100 yards. I was like, these numbers, even if you take even 10% off of them because of the 8 overtimes, this actually is a typical Georgia Tech game as far as the numbers they put up. I said, this is what you get a lot of times. I think they had 2 sacks, 3 tackles for a loss, 54 tackles. I thought they had more than that, but just everything in general lined up to the way Tech played this year. This is the best game they played all year, but at the same time, they played as good as they did here other times this year. And the ultimate winner of this game was not the UGA Bulldogs. And you could say Georgia Tech won on a moral standard, but the state of Georgia and both these fan bases won, because not only do we get this game the way it went, rivalry back on. This rivalry really hadn't been around for a long time, but at least the next 3, 4, 5 years, we can expect this every week. I mean, every time they're going to line up.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, the last, I don't know, how it's been 10 or so years that, when this game came out, you're like, all right, I'll watch it, but you know how it's going to go. And then, the start of this game, and it's, Tech, just all Tech. And it's like, okay, we're definitely showing, we've improved on what we've done in the past over the season. And now we're putting points and not giving up points against, a top 5 team who, we typically don't really do anything against. And I think definitely the interest in it gained from fan base, and even from I was at a high school football game, and the high school announcers were announcing the score over the intercom at the high school football game. Yep. That's how much we're we're getting that people are following this, and like I said, from just a general fan of football and being in the state of Georgia, this rivalry is definitely great, and I hope that, and definitely said it's from years to come to see that rivalry happening, really happen again.
Yeah, I typically do that when I'm covering one event, when I'm doing my review or post quarter or post halftime or whatever intermission reports. A lot of times, if I know local scores, I usually give them. Doing the Friday Night Football stuff last year, I would very much announce pro and college results during the halftime breaks and everything like that. And it's you got to. The last thing I'm gonna say on it too is Georgia Tech. I would say their average is about 25 to 27 points a game. Well, at the end of 4 quarters, they had 27 points. They had given up 27 points, including a big chunk of it in the fourth. But this just seemed like the typical, like I said, it seemed like the regular, typical, just culmination of everything they showed out in their biggest game.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. And I can also, saying on the flip side of it, it's a typical Georgia team who, when they get down in the first half, know how to come back in the second half. Mm-hmm. Take away that fourth quarter in overtime, and it's 17-6 Georgia Tech after 3 quarters, and it's like, okay, we're really doing something. And then both teams, I don't know what happened there. Both teams decided to wake up after that. Georgia really come back. There are some other things that some outside things affected it, but I won't go that route. For a team to score 6 points in 3 quarters and then all of a sudden score 21 against in the fourth, and by then we're at 27-27, and that alone. And then see it end 42-40.
Yeah.
So,
after 8 overtime, it just.
Yeah, it's ridiculous to see, both teams. So, 32 points scored between the two teams in overtime?
Yeah.
All the overtimes. So, yeah, it's definitely both fighting for something. I said before the game, Georgia really had something to kind of look into to keep their streak going, and we, fighting for the next win. At 7-4, we weren't going to make the playoffs, so that wasn't really a thing for us.
Right.
But just to have that rivalry and really still want to do it for both teams was definitely see.
Yeah, and I give credit where credit is due. You and Jake both picked UGA, so you got the winner. I also said it was going to be a super, super close matchup. I think I said 3 or 4 points, not 2. So I got us all across the board doing pretty well with that one. But I think we got about 6 minutes left. So we're going to get into bowl stuff next week, because I think Sunday is when they announce who's going where. There are 13 of the 17 ACC teams that are bowl eligible. So I'd be willing to bet Tech is not at an ACC bowl. They're probably going to be filling in a spot somewhere else. They could be anywhere in the country. But there's 6 games coming up, 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday. We're going to kind of run through them real quick. We've got the Mountain West Championship, number 20 UNLV against number 10 Boise State. It would be nice if Nevada, Las Vegas got a cool win, but more than likely Boise State's going to actually win a ranked opponent game.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. Don't see Boise State carrying on, and it should look good for them for the carry on with that, and we'll continue on, and that should give them a bye in the playoffs.
Yep. In the American Athletic Championship, the AAC, Tulane is going to come in against number 24 Army. I feel that it may be un-American to not pick Army right there, unfortunately, for Tulane. I don't have a problem with Tulane. I'm sure it's fun being in Louisiana, but I got to go Army.
Yeah, I agree with there. I mean, I know in the past that Tulane and Georgia Tech had a partnership. Back when Hurricane Katrina hit, we allowed their students to transfer in and go to our school with no fees or anything. So
Yep.
we had a partnership with them, and I have nothing against them, against the Green Wave there. But yeah, this is Army's game.
Those are both 8 o'clock on Friday games. ABC is going to carry the AAC, and the Mountain West will be on Fox. I think we got to go pretty quick now. Number 16, Iowa State goes against number 15, Arizona State in the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship. That is 12 o'clock on Saturday on ABC. Arizona State favored by 2. I'm a big Sun Devil fan, so I got Arizona State.
Yeah, I definitely think it'll be 2 points. About what I was thinking. I mean, pretty close game there. I'm agree with you there. Arizona State.
Yep. At 4 o'clock on ABC, Texas is a 2.5 point favorite over Georgia for the SEC. I'll be honest, I believe I picked Texas to win this, and it's going to come on a late rushing touchdown from Art Manning.
Just for the funsies of this, and I normally wouldn't do this, I'm going to go against you on this one, and I think Georgia going off the 8 overtime win is kind of on that roll, and I'm going to have Georgia on this one.
I think you're the lone one at Impact Media on that. I think you took Texas too. But number 3, Penn State versus number 1, Oregon in the Big Ten Championship. This is on CBS at 8 o'clock. Oregon is a 3.5 point favorite. I would love to see the Nittany Lions win this, but I'm going to once again go with the home team, and I'm going with Oregon.
Yeah, Penn State's usually that other team that kind of messes with the Michigan-Ohio State rivalry, and clear again, Michigan was just kind of off this year, even though they did for the 4th time in a row take it out of Ohio State. Good job there, and we'll see what happened. Who got out of Ohio State? So definitely, I mean, Penn State are doing good here, but I think Oregon's just been too much this year. I think Ducks continue.
Number 17, Clemson is going to face number 8, SMU in the ACC Championship. That is on ABC at 8 p.m. on Saturday. I will repeat what I said on Hunker Down. I almost wouldn't bother unless you're an SMU fan watching this, because SMU is going to run slap through Clemson, and you're not going to see any kind of orange outside of Tennessee in the top 12.
Yeah, I never go with you there. It kind of hurts a little bit to see the team who's their first year in the ACC win the ACC championship over teams that have been there for years. But yeah, no competition there. I mean, sorry, Clemson, you've had your years, but this year you're kind of there. The only reason you're in the championship because Syracuse beat Miami. After the game, Syracuse said, "You're welcome, Dabo Swinney." So, yes, unfortunately, this is going to be SMU.
Yeah, the absolute gift. I think Jake said he thinks Dabo could be out in a year or two, and I think so too, because he didn't adapt to the new rules. He tries to keep being old school, and part of why Saban left, he said, I could either try to adapt and deal with it, or I could go make money on ESPN. So he's on ESPN. Dabo might do something similar.
Yep.
But we've reached the end of our show. Hopefully you guys tune in, see some fun matchups. Some of those games will be really good. Try to see the ones you can. If not, there'll be tons of highlights. That's what a thing like ESPN is for. Yep. And other than that, any final words?
Well, I'm busy Friday night and Saturday night, so it'll be probably not seeing a lot of these. So like you said, we'll have some highlights on ESPN, but we'll see how this weekend goes and see how that affects the playoffs.
Oddly enough, those are the 2 nights I may be open this weekend. But for GaTechJon Watts, I am Jeremy the Impact York. This has been Up with the White and Gold. We will see you guys next week. Deuces, gooses, go Jackets.
Go Tech.